I think if people are doing law enforcement right, it should be a ministry. It should be to help people. And I think the importance of seeing people as God's children and recognizing the dignity of every human being, no matter what their circumstances, what their choices, that's a really important foundation for a good police officer. Mm-hmm. And that's something we talk about and think about in our department. And I think it's a really good starting place.
That was Keri Kei Shibata, Assistant Vice President for Campus Safety and Chief of Police. She was appointed Chief in 2016, and she's had a 20-year career at Notre Dame. You may know her in relation to her law enforcement career, but in this episode, we talked about her time as a youth pastor, how she got into roller derby, and why she started her EMBA program at Notre Dame with a broken leg. I'm Natalie Davis Miller, and this is NDWorks. Okay, so Keri Kei, we're in an interesting room. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about the place we're sitting in right now?
We are in the command post for public safety, and we use this room for home football games and other large events on campus. We could also use it in the event of an emergency. This would be a place where our public safety folks could come and coordinate the response to whatever is going on.
Okay, so I see a lot of monitors in here. What would they normally show us?
We have an incident tracking system. So one of the monitors would have that system up and show the incidents that are pending, that are people are working on responding to, and also the totals for the day. The weather would be up, especially if it's a game where we have some concerns about weather. One of the things that we might have up is our drone feeds if we're using a drone, and then we also have a drone detection system. So that's another system that we will have up, and that way if someone is using a drone and they're unauthorized to do so, we'll be alerted and can respond and talk with them about that.
This is pretty cool.
We also have lots of cameras, and we'll pull up the feeds that we need to look at for an incident.
Okay, very nice. So I kind of started where we're at. Let's go back a little bit. You've been here for 22 years. Yes. What made you apply to Notre Dame?
At the time I applied, I was working as a youth pastor, and that was my career goal, was to become a pastor. A job of a youth pastor doesn't pay enough to really support yourself on. And so I needed another job. And I had been working at Bethel College at the time for a couple years. And the position at Notre Dame opened up. It was a residence hall patrol position. It was a non-sworn security officer position. And I had worked at Bethel as a security officer through college and then after, and also as a residence hall director, their version of a rector. And so the combination of residential life and security was something I had in my background. Mm-hmm. And residence hall patrol was the new position at Notre Dame, and it fit well with my background. And so I just applied to try something different. And 22 years later, here we are.
Okay, so you said something in your background. Tell me about your family and everything to do with being a public safety officer. Tell us a little bit about that.
My dad was a Michigan State trooper, and so my whole life that was something he did, and we moved around a few different times because in the state police in Michigan, you moved to different parts of the state depending on where they wanted you to go. And my mom was a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and so both very kind of service-minded and community-minded careers, and helping people learn has always, and just supporting people in the community has been something I've been around all my life.
So I've known you for a little bit, and we've done some stories covering the department, and I did not know anything about your background, but something I saw you do at a conference that was here on campus for the police officers. After the conference was over and I was talking to a couple of people, I saw you moving about the tables, picking up things that people left behind, kind of cleaning up a little bit. And I said, she is a servant leader. And now I see where you get that from, not just from your family, but from your time at Bethel, from being a pastor. And I see that every day about you. I've always wanted to tell you this.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So I know you have a sister, and she's also kind of in that capacity well in her job, if you want to talk about that.
My sister was one of the first women firefighters at Notre Dame, and she has left Notre Dame now and is a firefighter at Clay Fire Department, and she's really enjoying that as well.
Okay, so is she older or younger?
She's 3 years younger.
And what's her name?
Christy Ann Shibata.
Okay, we'll have to give her a shout out. Okay,
yeah,
that's great. And I've met her too, and she's awesome. So are you married? Do you have children, if I can ask you that?
I am married. I do not have children. We have dogs.
Okay. What's your husband's name? What's he do?
David Young. He is a sergeant with the South Bend Police Department in the investigations unit.
Okay. And then what kind of dogs do you have? Because I love dogs.
Yes. We have an Airedale Terrier named Briar and a Pit Bull named Sigmund.
Oh, they look totally different then, right?
Yes.
Different types. So do they have personalities? Is one dog yours and one's your husband, or are you?
They're very different.
Okay.
but I wouldn't say one is either or the other. You know, I wouldn't say one of them is more attached to either one of us.
That's nice. So I love dogs, and I love the dogs that you have at the department. Tell us about those.
Yes, we love our dogs at NDPD. We have 2 Vaporwake canine dogs. Those are explosive detection dogs, so they can, I guess, smell the scent of explosives, and it's more complicated than that. But for my simple mind, that's what it is, and they can find them in a person moving through a crowd, if that's the case, or we also use them before we open up a facility to make sure that no one has left anything explosive behind. They can also detect firearms.
Okay.
And then we have 2 comfort canines. We call them. They're certified therapy dogs. And so they are there to help offer just a calming, gentle presence when someone is in crisis. And so it can be a proactive thing where we're going out to different departments and residence halls and groups around campus and just spending time with them, maybe during a stressful time in the year for them. Or it can be on a call if there's someone in crisis, and if it would be helpful for them to have the calming presence of a therapy dog, then Orla and Finn can be there with them.
Is this normal for campus police departments to have dogs that do these jobs? Or is this a little different here at Notre Dame? Does it depend on the size of the campus?
I would say it's fairly normal especially for a campus of our size. The therapy dogs are an emerging trend that have become very, very popular. Other schools that we talked to who had the program before we did said, as soon as you get one, you're going to want another one because they're going to be in such high demand. And we found that to be true. And the explosive detection for schools that have large events is probably fairly common.
And for example, we have concerts here in addition to football games, and you have basketball games and all the sports. So that makes perfect sense. So I want to continue to talk just a little bit more about you and some of the things I found out. And one of the most interesting things that I found out was that you did roller derby.
I did.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about when you did that, how you got into that.
I probably started around between 2012 and 2014 was the time that I was maybe most active in roller derby. It was after I had been promoted to assistant chief. And so it was a big position with a lot of responsibility, and I needed something to do to help me stay active and have a little fun and blow off some steam. And I had gone to, my husband and I had visited his cousin in the Seattle area, and we had attended a roller derby match. And I just thought that looked like a lot of fun. And so I wondered if South Bend had a team, and I found on Facebook that they did. And I started following the team on Facebook, even though I don't do much on social media at all. And one day I just happened to see a post about Derby 101 where you could come and learn about roller derby. And so I was available, and I showed up and started to learn about it and decided I wanted to do it. And so started playing roller derby with the South Bend Roller Girls.
Did you have a stage name?
Yes, my derby name was Keri Chaos with a K.
Okay, Keri Chaos. Did you bring the chaos?
I tried, yes.
Was it dangerous? Did you suffer any injuries or anything
I
like
broke
that?
my leg.
Oh my word.
Yes. Yes, I broke my leg, and I was trying to play a position I didn't normally play. I was normally a blocker, and we were scrimmaging, and they had me play jammer, and I jammed myself right into breaking my leg. So.
Oh my word.
But,
see, I didn't know any of this. When you say play, I'm like, is it like racing around? But no, you're going for points or in positions and don't. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
So did that end the career or no?
No, it did not. I was determined to come back.
Okay.
And so I started the executive MBA program at Notre Dame with a broken leg.
Oh my word.
And then partway through, I had recovered enough and was able to get back to practicing and to play another couple bouts. And then in 2016, when I became chief, there were the demands of the job and the demands of roller derby were a little bit in conflict, and I couldn't commit to both. So
did you hang up your skates, or are you out there a little bit?
Every once in a while, I will put them on and roll around a little bit.
Are they 4 wheels or inline?
4 wheels.
4 wheels. Okay, that's old school for me.
And I had never, other than like skating at church events, I had never really roller skated. I was more of a roller blader before that. So I really had to learn how to skate and how to use those front brakes, which are challenging.
Would your husband think about all this? I mean,
he loved
your family, what they think? That's pretty cool.
My husband loved it. He actually helped coach or helped with the team a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I see that you were a basketball coach too at one time.
Yes. After college, I worked for a year as a permanent sub at South Bend Community Schools at Edison Middle School. And the summer before that, or a couple summers before that, I was a lifeguard. That was something I had done all through high school and was doing that at Merrifield Pool in Mishawaka. And it happened that one of the maintenance workers at the Merrifield Park was also the coach of the Adams women's basketball team, and he found out that I had played basketball and done some like camp coaching at basketball camps, and so he invited me to help coach the Adams women's basketball team. So
was that fun?
For a year, and it was a lot of fun. Yes.
So you're really into sports. Is it kind of like a stress reliever, or you just really enjoy it? Or
I do. I really enjoy team sports.
Okay.
That's why roller derby was so attractive to me, because it was a team sport. I don't love going out and running or some of the individual things. So I like it when I can do. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I heard something about you playing pickleball.
Yes.
And people do not want to go up against you when you're returning or serving. I don't know much about pickleball, but they say when that arm comes up and you return, is that true? little Keri chaos going on.
That's right. I try to bring the chaos wherever I go.
So do you still play pickleball?
I do. I love it. In fact, this evening I'm going to go play pickleball with some friends. So.
Oh, okay. They should be warned, right? Or maybe they know already.
And I will tell them that apparently they told on me.
I always got sources out there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about you and your current role as chief of police and also as assistant VP of campus safety. How would you describe your leadership style as the chief of police?
I knew when I became the chief that I would never be the person with the most experience in the room, because my law enforcement career was entirely here at Notre Dame, which has been an amazing experience. And I would say I'm an expert at being a police officer and a police leader at Notre Dame. But I haven't had some of the experiences that folks from other agencies had with some of the more common, where violence and other serious incidents are more common. And so I would need people around me that would have more experience and expertise in some of the things that I did not. And so I see my role as bringing the right people with lots of different experience and lots of different backgrounds and lots of different perspectives together, and enabling and empowering them to use their skills and expertise and to lead and to shine and to accomplish what needs to be accomplished on behalf of the community. And so it's really about letting them do what they're good at.
And that supports you, what you do, right?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about your role as the assistant VP? That's been your role for maybe 2 or 3 years now?
Yeah, I think about 2. Some of the areas that I have reporting to me other than the police department are emergency management, global safety and security. The Notre Dame Fire Department now reports to me. So a lot of the campus safety functions report to me. And then I do what I can to support our vice president as well if he needs me to step in when there's something that he can't do.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you've had in your career here and how did you overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge for me was when I stepped into the role as chief, feeling the pressure of the safety of the entire Notre Dame community and all of our police officers being on my shoulders. And I had to learn that yes, that is true. It is my responsibility, and that's important, and to never forget that. But that not every decision is a life or death decision, and that I had support and people around me to help make those decisions. And most of the time, there is time to think through things, and many times it's okay to say I don't know and go talk to partners and resources and figure it out. And as long as you are able to come to the right answer eventually, that you can take that time, and knowing when you can take that time and when you can't, and you just need to make a decision now. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a big learning curve, and that was a big challenge for me. But Notre Dame is such a supportive community and offers so many resources to people, to leaders, to employees. And I've found those resources to be very helpful. Some of the leadership development programs that the university offers have been really helpful to me in that as well.
I love just my contact with the police department, seeing how much training happens and how much preparation and working with the other departments in the area, right?
Yes.
South Bend Police and with the fire departments and things like that. I think that's awesome because if something happens, you're really going to be relying. Am I right about that?
We will all be working together on a major incident, and it is so important to have those partnerships, and that's a really important part of my role as chief, and the role of our department is to help bring different agencies together. Even a game day, which is something that happens regularly every year, we can't do that by ourselves because our department is built for a day like today, not the game day when we have a lot more people on campus and a lot more activity. So those partnerships are really important.
So you graduated through Notre Dame's Executive MBA program. Why did you want to go into that program, and how have you used that knowledge from that program?
I knew that I wanted to pursue a graduate degree of some sort. When I graduated from Bethel, initially I thought it would be either in social work or in ministry or theology. But as I began to pursue a career in law enforcement, I knew I needed and wanted a graduate degree. And so the 2 degrees that I was thinking about were going to law school or business school. And I ultimately decided on business school because it seemed so foreign to me. I knew nothing about business and knew that I would learn things that I would not learn any other way. I was not likely to go pick up a book on business and learn it on my own. And so it was interesting and different and challenging, and something that I did not think I could learn on my own. And then it really opened my eyes to how the university and really the world works, and helps me understand that and helps me navigate the business side of the university and the world.
Man, I love that. It's like, it's a challenge because law school would seem like that would be the next logical thing. And you said, no, I'm going to go do this over here. This thing I don't know anything about, right?
Yep.
Would you encourage people to do something like that?
I would. And in fact, when people are going into law enforcement and they're thinking about what they want to go to school for, I always say, you probably don't really need a degree in criminal justice. And there are so many other degrees that you can get that will help round out your experience. You will learn what you need to learn about law enforcement at the academy and through other trainings and certifications. But if you can pursue psychology or the law or sociology or some other field, that will make you a more well-rounded officer.
That is great advice. Thank you. Has Notre Dame Police Department ever had a female police chief?
I believe I'm the first one, yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, did you see this in your future when you started out?
It's interesting that you asked that. No, because when I became a security officer here and started here, I mentioned it was really a job to help pay the bills, and I was pursuing another career. But at the same time, when they interviewed me for that job, one of the things they asked is where would you be in 5 years? And I said, I don't really know if I'll be here or not, because I don't know that law enforcement is the career, that I want to do for the rest of my life. But if I am, it will probably be in a leadership role. And just because that is what I'm drawn to and what I think some of my strengths are built for.
So I'm thinking of this question now, so I'm going to try to make sure I get my words right. Given what you originally went to college for and where you're at now, that faith journey, because you kind of switched careers, did it impact you, or is it impacting you as the chief of police? You're in police now, in law enforcement, as opposed to ministry, or is this kind of ministry? Does that question, am I making sense?
Yes.
Because they seem to marry to me, but I don't know how to explain it. So I want to hear how you explain it.
They do, to me, go well together. To me, law enforcement, especially law enforcement at Notre Dame, but if people are doing law enforcement right, it should be a ministry. It should be to help people. And I think the importance of seeing people as God's children and recognizing the dignity of every human being, no matter what their circumstances, what their choices, that's a really important foundation for a good police officer. Mm-hmm. And that's something we talk about and think about in our department. And I think it's a really good starting place.
So were your parents alive when you became chief, or are they alive now?
Yes, they are.
How did it feel to tell them that you were now the chief of police? Do you remember that? And how did they respond?
Well, my dad had nenever wanted me to go into law enforcement.
Why? Why? Because you're his baby.
So that, I think he was probably glad that it was at a place like Notre Dame and not, some other places where it could have been. But he definitely is proud. They definitely are proud of me and my sister.
Oh, that's nice. Very nice. What is the best part of working at Notre Dame?
I bet it's similar to what other people say. It's the people.
Yes. Every time.
Yes. I did not know really anything about Notre Dame when I started working here. I knew it was the university on the other side of town. I knew it was the place that I did not want to be on a Saturday in the fall when there was a home game, because it was so busy and the traffic was so crazy. And that was really all I knew about Notre Dame. And as I worked at Notre Dame and as I rose into different positions and was exposed to different parts of the Notre Dame community, I really was able to see progressively more and more that Notre Dame means what it says about its mission and about caring for its people, and that the leaders at Notre Dame mean that. And while Notre Dame's not perfect and the people at Notre Dame are not perfect because they're human, people really mean that, and people really care about the mission. And it's not everywhere you go where the better you get to know an organization, the more you see that's true. And I see that at Notre Dame. And so that is really special. And the amazing different people with all their different talents and backgrounds and perspectives and what they bring to support that mission is incredible.
What's a day look like for you in your position?
Every day is different. That's another thing that I love about the job. Every job I've ever had through my career at Notre Dame, that every day is different. Now it's a lot of meetings, coordinating, with other partners at the university and other public safety partners, and making sure that our plans are where they need to be, that we're reacting to problems, when we start to see something could be a problem, that we're being proactive and not letting that develop, and just that we're doing what we need to do to keep the community safe.
Now, I saw you the other day, and it didn't look like a lot of meetings. I think we were outside, and you had some makeup on, a little different makeup. And I got a picture with you, and you were a zombie.
Yes.
So talk about those kinds of days. That's kind of fun, right?
Yes.
But it served a purpose.
Yes. Some days, one day a year, I get to be a zombie. And that's way outside my normal personality, but but it's a very fun day. And it's our Zombie Preparedness Fest, because if you can be prepared for a zombie apocalypse, you can be prepared for anything.
That's right.
So our Senior Director of Emergency Management, Tracy Skibbins, has brought that to our community. And it's a really fun way to bring people together and have interactive things that they can do to learn more about safety and what they can do to be prepared for any kind of emergency.
And how many years have you been doing this?
This was our third year.
Okay. It looks like it's growing to me.
Yes.
It seemed like there were a lot of people out the other day, and the weather was great. And it looks like people are having a good time.
It's a great, fun event.
Okay. So can we talk a little about outside of the university, some of your special interests or community things that you do? There's another sport out there that you're playing.
So you mentioned a couple of organizations that I'm a part of. The Family Justice Center of St. Joseph County is a nonprofit organization that is like a one-stop shop for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. I've been involved with that organization longer than I've been at Notre Dame.
Oh,
and,
nice.
So was an advocate there years ago, and have watched that organization grow, and it's just something that's close to my heart, that supporting victims of domestic violence and sexual assault and their family and the people that support them. And then the Center for the Homeless is another great organization in the community of South Bend that I get to learn about and help support that mission as well. For fun, the other sport that I do, I guess, is my husband and I like to ride motorcycles, and we like to camp off our motorcycles, and also paddleboard and things like that.
Oh, nice. So what kind of motorcycle do you have?
A Ducati Multistrada.
Okay. Is it a big bike?
It is.
Okay. And when you say camp, you're taking your gear and everything.
Yes. We have tents that pack up into little packages and go in our saddlebags, and along with cooking utensils and everything else, and cots even, that we pack up and throw in our saddlebags and go camping.
That's pretty cool. Now, is your season coming to an end? Are we still in it for doing that?
Oh, we're definitely still in it.
Oh, good.
We will ride our motorcycles in the winter. In fact, last winter we moved into a new house in January, and it was 24 degrees out, and we rode our motorcycles from our old house to our new house.
Oh, that's nice. Very, very nice. What's your favorite place on campus?
I think walking around the lakes.
Is it peaceful?
Yes. Peaceful, the nature, the birds and animals, and other people just enjoying the serenity as well.
What has been the most rewarding part of being chief?
I love being able to support people as they grow and develop, and as they are able to be more confident and successful in their roles. And so just seeing team members like me maybe start out as a security officer and then become a police officer, and then have an area of interest that they want to learn more about and take on a more specific role within the department. I just love being able to help people pursue their career goals and be successful.
Thank you so much, Keri Kei, for taking this time to share with us a little bit about your work here at Notre Dame. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Natalie.
The NDWorks Podcast is produced by the Office of Internal Communications. We're the team that brings you NDWorks Weekly, NDWorks Quarterly, The Week at ND, and a passion for sharing clear, concise, and interesting information with faculty and staff of the University of Notre Dame. We'll be back next time with more news and stories by and for Notre Dame employees. I'm Natalie Davis Miller. Thanks for listening to NDWorks.